I took the long road home.
We spent the spring with our daughters in California. We were able to watch our youngest granddaughter to graduate from preschool, and we decided that we wanted to explore the Montana and Wyoming area and visit Yellowstone. That's a place that I had never seen, and Christine hadn't seen since back in the 70s. So we were excited to see something that was new, add some more states where Lola has traveled. Our youngest daughter and her family decided to join us for the first part of the trip, and that was visiting Yellowstone National Park. And our youngest daughter and Christine were the ones that kind of put our agenda together for what we wanted to see in and around Yellowstone, as well as the basic route that we're going to take. We started off in California, drove across Nevada and into Salt Lake City, like we did when we went to Albuquerque. But from there, it was all new territory. We headed north into Wyoming, and we decided to go on the eastern side of Yosemite to start off with. And why did we pick that route, Christine?
Well, I think we picked that route due, some of the grades, the steep grades that are on the, on the western side and even the southern side. We didn't want to go through Jackson Hole or the Tetons. While it's absolutely gorgeous down there, we thought we'd go to the eastern side first. Plus, we had given our grandson a gift for the dig of the day in Thermopolis, Wyoming, and after that he couldn't wipe the smile off his face because he had actually done something like that, and so very exciting.
On our trip from Thermopolis, heading up, we went through U.S. Highway 310. It looks like, and 20, and it was just amazing. 2-lane highway for the most part, up through Cody and on north. Hardly any traffic at all. And a smooth highway. Easy grades, and it was a great drive from Thermopolis to just outside of Livingston, where we stayed at the KOA there. And so from a driving perspective, it was great. Christine and our daughter spent a lot of time fine-tuning the route. And tell us a little bit more about that.
We just went through some YouTubes, watching people drive through some of the roads, because we've never been there before, so it was interesting to see. We're kind of glad we didn't go take Highway 14 from Cody all the way through directly to Henry's Lake. Several decisions made that, plus we have a 40-foot RV, so that was another decision. There's a lot of curves there, and it's not recommended to drive through Yellowstone with such a large motorhome. When we were in Thermopolis, we were eating dinner, and there was a couple that had actually just come from Henry's Lake, and they were staying in Thermopolis. So they were going in the opposite direction of where we were headed, and they basically said, thank goodness that you decided to go the northern route up to Bozeman, because it had taken them 6 to 8 hours just to get from Henry's Lake over to Thermopolis. They said it was pretty treacherous, and that was because of the weather. The day before, it had actually snowed in Yellowstone. It had snowed in Cody. They had the plows out again, so we're thankful that we actually made that decision to drive that way. We went from Thermopolis, drove up to Livingston, and in Livingston we stayed at the KOA, which ended up being just an absolutely gorgeous place. We only stayed there for one night because we wanted to reach Henry's Lake the next day. In Bozeman, we stayed for a few hours. We actually went to the Museum of the Rockies. There was a traveling show with guitars as well as more dinosaur bones. So you can imagine our grandson was ecstatic about that. Once we finished that, we did some quick shopping to fill up our refrigerator, and then we went down to Henry's Lake State Park.
So what happened while you were shopping?
Oh, well, it rained so hard that we got just drenched. But I guess there was some pretty good lightning shows as well, which you and
Yeah, so I was with our son-in-law and the kids in the RV in the parking lot of the Museum of the Rockies, and we had just a tremendous downpour. Thunder and lightning was shaking the RV. The roads were flooded to a certain extent, and so we had our fingers crossed. We thought, well, we were looking at when we checked the weather, it looked like it might be lasting till like 8 or 9 o'clock. And we think, well, Josh, maybe we'll have to stay here rather than risk traveling on the highway down to Henry's Lake. But by the time the girls got back around 3 o'clock, it had stopped. And by the time we got everything going again, ready to go on the highway, about 3:30 or thereabouts, the roads had cleared up. We ended up, instead of driving through Bozeman, because the Museum of the Rockies is on the eastern side of Bozeman, we drove back to the freeway going east and then hooked up back on Interstate 90. Just past Bozeman is the going on to State Highway 84, which connects to
191.
US 191. And that ended up being an easy drive. The roads were clear, very little traffic. And we were down in Henry's Lake State Park by about 6 o'clock in the evening and got all set up there. And Henry's Lake State Park is about 15 minutes away from West Yellowstone. So we decided to stay there for 6 days and use that as our main point that to explore Yellowstone and stay there. And it was a beautiful place, and we'll got pictures and videos of that in the next episode.
You by my side so that I'll never feel alone again. They've always been so kind, but now they bought you away from here. I hope they didn't get your mind. Your heart is too strong anyway. We need to fetch back the time that they have stolen from us. I want you, we can bring it on the floor. I've never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing on to the boogie all night long. I'm stoned in paradise, but we don't talk about it. I want you, we can bring it on the floor. I've never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing on to the boogie all night long. I'm stoned in paradise, but we don't talk about it. Shouldn't talk about it. The longest winter for me. No sun is shining anymore. The only thing I feel is pain caused by the absence of you. Suspense controlling my mind. We need to find a way out of here. I want you by my side so that I'll never feel alone. I want you, we can bring it on the floor. I've never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing on to the boogie all night long. I'm stoned in paradise, but we don't talk about it. I want you, we can bring it on the floor. Never danced like this before. We don't talk about it, dancing on to the boogie all night long. I'm stoned in paradise, but we about it.